Hello everybody, and welcome to another replay analysis with Isosceles from the VFam versus Ron Jeremy, or Jeremy Salami, or Jeremy Sammy. Got a nice Protoss versus Zerg on our hands, and we're gonna help see really quick what happens in this game. I would not punch you in the face, by the way, Rudy. That's fucked up. Care about you too much. Alright. So if you guys don't know how these work, basically, what happens is we look at a player who is the subject for the game, and today's subject is Isosceles, and we're going to help him get better at StarCraft, essentially. Look at his build, look at what he's doing right, what he's doing wrong, how can he fix it, how can he get better, all this stuff. So far his build's fine. The only thing I could say on his build so far is I would say try really hard to do something like take 2 probes off of that and maybe put one of those 2 probes on that stack. That way you could have 2, 2, 2, and 2 on all the close ones. Very minor. You have 3 out of 4 close patches stacked so far. It's minor, but yeah, it's definitely doable because you're doing nothing now anyways at this point. And it's stacked now anyways, so now all is done. You would have had a double stack on the close patch for all of like 12 more seconds, which in reality is very little minerals for that short of a duration. Okay, now let's look at your build here. You chrono boosted. Right as the paladin's done, you build your... You cancel the probe. Or wait, no you didn't. You just... I would say queue up a probe, honestly. I would actually say queue up a probe. I'm not even kidding. Because you're going to build a gateway. You should be able to build a gateway right as it's done anyways. You should. Queue up a probe. That way you have a probe in production. It could have been like 4 or 5 seconds of the way done already. Instead of building it after you build a gate. It's very minor again. So far, both things are super minor for you. Of things that I would say you can improve on. Like for the just a little tiny tweaks of the opener. Very, very minor. But yeah, those 2 things, if you did do them, little... tiny edges, little tiny edges so far. And again, for those of you who didn't hear me, or if I possibly didn't say it, this is Diamond League, if you guys are wondering. Okay, now you missed a probe there for a second again. How long was that? That shit like that's critical. Probe finishes, and it's also during chrono. Probe finishes at 48. How long goes by before you start another probe? Okay, just kidding. It was like milliseconds, so that's okay. I just saw the Nexus stop producing for a second. That's okay. Wait, no, that was the one. Sorry, I went back too far. It's this one. It's at like 55. Okay, get ready for it. So at 57, your probe stops. At 58, it starts again. Okay. Just kidding. Good job. Okay. You're really testing me. You're testing my patience. No, okay. Whenever I see that Nexus just stop for a second, it freaks me out. These are milliseconds you're missing, but yeah, milliseconds are not that big of a deal. Because the Nexus does idle for milliseconds. But it should be always like this. Like stack it up just before it finishes so it always has that repetition. Good shit though, so far. But your scout's gasless. Now, when you look at a gasless Zerg, I'm going to tell you something really fast. You should be expecting a 3rd base. You should either be expecting a beta GM style Zerg player, which is, that's fine. That would mean he's going to stay on 2 bases for a while, and he's going to go for like a roach run or whatever, which is not that big of a deal for you right now. Or it means he's going to go for a 3rd base. Gasless is not threatening. So doing things like building a really quick shield battery, or if you were to like now, let's say you built your core before your Nexus, none of that shit would make sense at all. Because he cannot punish you at all with anything. He went hatch, gas, or sorry, he went hatch, pool, no gas so far. So yeah, I love that you're going to prioritize the Nexus. You're not building it though. Now build your core. Build that core, baby. I think you're spending too much time on the probe. Honestly. You're spending too much time on the probe. Here's what you can do. Honestly, here's what you can do. If you scout someone's base and you're like, oh fuck, I want to see what this guy's doing again in a second. Instead of doing this shit where you're like down, up, all over, left, right, down, 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 clicking over here and stuff, just go like this. When your probe was here and you saw he was gasless, go to his third, right click a patch, hold shift, come back to your probe, and right click this patch again or something. So your probe's gonna go like this. It's gonna mine over here, and then it's gonna come back and mine this. And it gives your probe mineral walking. So there's no way it's gonna die. And then you just forget about it for a little bit. Like go macro, fix everything, and then if you don't want to actually go to his third base, which is fine, come back into his main and look at it again. Or if you go to the third just to see, did he expand here, that's also fine. I would expect there to be potentially a third here, honestly, for gasless. I would not... doing shit like this where you're like shift commanding all over his base, it's such a waste of time. Like where you're staging it out, because I imagine the way you're microing this is you're like click, 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 drag your screen, click, 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 click. And if your screen drag is at 20%, which is what most people's default is, that's really bad. Mine's at 50%, which is how fast this is. Drag screen is how fast you move your side mouse to the side of the screen and it drags the screen around. Don't do that shit. That's a waste of time. That does shit where it's like my Nexus is ready at 400, which is 128, and you don't actually build it until 4 seconds later at 132. You started at 132. So stuff like that's not going to happen nearly as much if you just do simple moves rather than click, 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 drag, click, 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 click. Like it's just excessive, and it's the same. You're getting the same outcome, I would say.
Your darling probes are
Or you can even have done his natural. Just click his natural and then come back to the main. That also would have been fine. Because you're doing it again a second time now. You're ready to build the core now. Your Nexus was 4 seconds late. Now you're ready to build the core at 141. And how long does it take you to build the core? You built the core at, I'll give it to you, I'll say 149. So your core is 8 seconds late, and your Nexus was 4 seconds late. And you're getting no more of a scout off than you already were before. Like the sacrifice of that guaranteed was because you were microing your probe with all these shift commands. Guaranteed. And there's no reason for your core and your Nexus to be delayed like this. Like again, it's not game ending where it's like, holy fuck, you just messed up, just restart now. But that does set your build behind though. All your timings now are 8 seconds behind because all of your tech is 8 seconds behind. All of your units you're going to build out of your gateway are now 8 seconds behind. All of your probes out of your natural are now, and also the saturation of your natural is now 4 seconds behind. It adds up all the time. Things like this always add up, and it's at the cost of nothing, no gain. So it's irrelevant. It's not necessary because you could have just went like this with your probe. Oh, he doesn't have gas? Mine. And then your probe would come back, or doesn't have gas, mine. Takes you all of like 2 seconds to set that up, 1 second to set that up, instead of shift commanding all over his base. And you're still going to come back and get a scout into his base again. If you want one, like you're doing, if you want another scout, you will still come back again like 15 seconds later or 20 seconds later. Because the process of walking all the way down here is like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. And the process of walking all the way back in here is like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So really like 20 to 30 seconds, you'll come back. Instead of doing the same exact thing but having a drone chase you and just shift commanding it. Because if you just mine a patch here and then mine a patch here, one drone is never going to kill you. It will never kill you. It won't even break the shields entirely. Because it doesn't run faster than a probe. It's just him wasting money now at this point. So that's actually good for you that he's doing that shit. But he's so paranoid about a cannon rush, which is why he's chasing you. When he should just leave an overlord. So I could coach him into the same way and be like, dude, you should really just have an overlord there. They'll have to waste mining then. Because does he even have 16 on the middle line? No, he doesn't. That's fucking huge for Zerg. I would feel like I'm ahead if I was Protoss now, if the Zerg was doing that. But now you see he's got a gas. That's cool. It's not actually gasless. This is more like Beta GM-esque. He's just having a delayed gas. So what does that tell you now? Again, there's no emphasis on going crazy on like a second gateway super fast. You should be definitely prioritizing your chrono boost on your probes now. Because late gas means no speedling pressure. It could mean speedling eventually, later on. But by the time he could eventually do it, you would easily have all the stuff you want to have to defend it. You don't have to prioritize it though, because he didn't prioritize Zergling speed. So I would say this looks like it could be speedlings later on, but it definitely looks like more like Beta GM style, where he might just go for a layer and go for what's it called? A stalker, or sorry, Jesus, I got distracted by something else in my room. It could be a roach build, a wall off, or you know, something that's super defensive, basically. All right. No, he's chasing you still, dude. This guy's just not really paying attention to his drone. So you're going Stargate. That's fine. We'll see how you open with it. You should definitely have been chrono boosting your Nexus a lot more often. So I know that you're saving chrono boost, and it would make sense, I guess, if you. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's only one unit you can make out of this Stargate now that makes sense for your Nexus. Only one. If you don't make anything besides an Oracle, I disagree with it. If you make a Void Ray or a Phoenix, you should not be saving chronos. Definitely do not save chronos. The only reason why is because Oracles, if you save chrono like this, you can make 2 of them really fast. And 2 Oracles have the ability to one-shot drones. And if he doesn't have a Spore or multiple Queens, you could win the game just doing that straight up. So it makes sense if you're going to save chrono for Oracle, because you could chrono the Stargate like 3 times and get really quick double Oracle out. But if you're not making Oracle, you're just falling behind because you're not going to kill drones then. The only time it ever makes sense to save chrono like this is if you're going for a tech timing that is either going to cripple your opponent military-wise or economically-wise. Like, you need to cripple them though, and they need to be crippled. And if you're just going to save chrono to make like Void Rays defensively fast, that is really bad. And the only time it ever makes sense to chrono out Phoenix, in my opinion, is if you have double Stargate, because Phoenix takes a lot more than 1 or 2 to ramp up to power. You need to have like 8 Phoenix to have, or like 6 Phoenix or so to have like a good amount of Phoenix for power. Okay, you're going Skytoss, it looks like. So I imagine you're going to make a Void Ray. And you're actually chronoing the Nexus now. So this is delayed. Definitely do this faster. I'm going to go back to your build now. Earlier on. It's right when the core was going to finish. You could definitely chrono boost your Nexus the second pylon's done. Right now, you chrono boost the second the Nexus, and then the second your gateway and your core the second your core is done, your core and your second pylon should be finishing at the same time. Just throwing it out there. So you should be actually chrono boosting 2 things at the same time: your Nexus and your gate. Get a fast stalker, get probes faster. This allows you to deny scouting, and it also allows you to like kill overlords and shit, and then also have a good probe saturation quickly. And then the second your natural's done, you're just chronoing probe until you're almost fully saturated on the natural. Because if you're going to go Stargate like this defensively with the Forge, I guarantee it's a Void Ray. It's very likely a Void Ray. And you make an Adept first and you don't chrono boost it, you just save chrono. So this is definitely a mistake. This is definitely a mistake. I don't like the Adept first either. The reason why I don't like the Adept first either is because, well, okay, there's one exception to this. It's if you make an Oracle first. If you make an Adept and you make an Oracle first and you actually make up to 2 Adepts, you could do a pseudo attack of like what 2 Oracle could be. You could do 2 Adept and 1 Oracle, and you could go into 2 different mineral lines and try to like just pop drones with both of these things and see how much damage you could do. That also could happen. That is harder to do. That's higher skill level because it's multi-prong. Probably not something I would recommend for Diamond, but if you attack simultaneously with both, it makes sense. However, if you make this Adept stay defensive, it makes no sense, in my opinion. I think it should be a Stalker. The reason why is because the Stalker is multi-purpose. It can deny scouting, and it's better against Roach and Baneling busts than an Adept is. So you're making 2 Adepts. You're making an Oracle and you're chrono boosting it. Okay. You're chrono boosting your probes. With this though, you definitely need to make a third unit if you're going to actually attack with it. If you just make Adepts to sit here defensively, I don't like that at all.
I had a bad supply block here for the second Oracle, but even when I don't supply block, I'm not sure about the timings of things, like when to put down a third and fourth Stargate.
So, you're not attacking with Adepts at all? No, thank you for the bits, Dr. Dark Knight, and thanks for clarifying what you were talking about earlier. I'm going to tell you right now, the way you switch your Chrono Boost is incorrect for the fact that you went Oracle. You should definitely go Stalker first, and you should just make one Stalker and stop. You literally could stop at one Stalker. You don't have to make like non-stop units out of the gateway if you're going to go Skytoss like this. You should Chrono Boost out 2 Oracles out of your Stargate. Fast. And do not reveal them, because the whole point of Oracle is that he doesn't know you're doing it. So you could, I would actually say you could go double Stalker or a single Stalker. And you could actually make sure your door is still walled off. If you go single Stalker and there's like an Overlord that you need to go kill, have a probe sitting here that you can build a pylon with if he tries to have lings flood into your base. Or like not even flood, just like 2 lings run into your base. So you could be like, pylon bitch, and then you can't get into your base anymore while you kill the Overlord. And then you could always cancel the pylon at the last second when your Stalker comes back. Or you could even make a battery if it's like 1 or 2 lings, because a battery takes like twice as long as a pylon to build, so it still won't die to the ling. So it'll deny the scout even longer, which buys you more time to kill an Overlord. But basically not allowing your opponent to scout is a big deal when you go Oracle openers like this. Like if they just see it, it's a lot less powerful. It's not that it's bad, it's just like you're now going to probably like kill 1 or 2 drones with the gas probably and then have to leave. You're not going to kill like 8 drones on a mineral line or like 10 drones on a mineral line. That's just kind of going out the window now. So conceptually, it doesn't make any fucking sense that you go defensive Adepts with an Oracle opener. And if your plan was to go double Oracle opener, that is more emphasis on the Oracle, you definitely should have gone for a Stalker to deny scouting. And then again, a Stalker is just better to sit in the wall because it absorbs things better, like roaches, like Banes, like Zerglings. It doesn't kill Zerglings as easy, but it's not supposed to kill shit. It's supposed to, like, one Stalker's not going to kill a Zerg army of all-ins. And I'm not saying he's all-inning you either, because he went for a late gas. But conceptually, it makes more sense if you're going to play defensive with it anyways, because it's going to sit in the wall until you actually have Skytoss, right? It's just going to sit there all game, basically. An Adept is vulnerable. An Adept is not a very good unit to sit in the wall. Yep. And then, yeah, you definitely needed to obviously try not to supply block, make your pylons faster, but you don't need to make multiple gateway units if you're not going to attack. You really don't. Like, especially Adepts. Like, I'm stressing this really hard because if you're not going to attack with them, it's a waste. Super big waste. And if you reveal Oracles at 1 Oracle, you lose momentum. Like, double Oracle is way more powerful than single Oracle. You could actually wipe out 16 drones with double Oracle. With single Oracle, if there's only just a queen there, you might kill 8 if you micro it like perfectly while he's running his drones around, and you don't waste auto attacks on the queen. Let's see what you do. I'm guessing you're going to probably get 8. You killed 4. That was a missed opportunity right there. Super missed opportunity. My question to you would be, why did you leave? Because the queen takes forever to kill an Oracle. It really does. And I would have said that would have actually been a moment where it would have been more worth it to lose the Oracle and just kill as many drones as you could in the process. You could have honestly killed probably 12 drones with that Oracle and then lost the Oracle. And the reason why I say that is because you killed 4 before you even engaged the queen. You killed 4 before you engaged the queen, because the second you engaged the queen, you let your Oracle zap the queen once or twice, and then you flew away from it and you ran away. Watch this. You killed 4 drones before you even got hit by the queen. You've already killed 4 drones. If you just kept killing drones here, I think you had your dude on A move, by the way, and now it aggroed onto the gas drones. And then when it aggroes onto the gas drones, it aggroes his queen, because the second you shoot a drone here, it has a radius of aggro to grab the queen, which makes the queen come to you. and you're just A moving. You're not actually focus firing. So then the second the queen comes and you're on A move, you actually allow your oracle to then shoot the queen. Also, what are you doing right now? I'm curious. I want to watch how you micro this whole situation. The fact that you're not looking at the oracle is a big mistake. This is why I don't recommend builds like this for lower level players. And in Diamond, it's still in that territory. Like I even said before, the double Adept attack with Oracle is a little bit of like, maybe don't recommend that for like Diamond level, because it's high level shit. You should be actually microing this as much as you can. This is the like you should be making probes. Like, so what this is what you should be doing. Okay. You should be setting up every building you need before the fight happens, and then during the fight, you should be building shit as the fight's happening. So you could be going literally 5 DD, 5 DD, 5 DD for probes, whenever you need them, every like 10 seconds or whatever. A probe has a 12-second build time, but making sure you're flowing probes and not wasting time on your Nexus and shit like you're doing right now with the supply block. Like, you set up before the fight starts, but then as soon as the fight starts, you check him, and the second you see this, no spore, don't fucking look away. Kill every drone. That is so... This is why it's important not to let Zerg scout you. If your choice is to go Oracle Opener, this build is like okay if they scout it, and you can maybe poke them a little bit, be a little annoying, but for the most part, the Zerg is gonna maybe lose 1 or 2 drones or none, depending on how they deal with it. But you're gonna also force static D out of them, so it's gonna slow them down a little bit in that way. It's gonna like stabilize the game essentially, is what I would say. Neither player is ahead or behind. You invested into the Oracle, they invested into not taking damage from the Oracle, and maybe you even still get 1 or 2 drones here and there. It's like stabilized. But the fact that he doesn't know you're going Oracle and you have no defense from the Zerg here, this is opportunity for you now to be like, and I'm way ahead now with my Oracle Opener, because he had no idea, he did not prepare for it, and because he didn't prepare for it, I have the window now to kill a fuckload of drones. A lot of drones could die here. And you just go back to your base and macro. And then, but when you come back, because of the aggro I talked about, you actually didn't even kill any of these drones in the gas. It hit one, it went into the gas, it hit another one, it went into the gas, and because of these attacks, it also, like I said, it aggroed the queen. I bet the Zerg player didn't micro that either. He just let it aggro. It was AI. That was AI versus AI right there. And then he saved drones because they both, by themselves, went into the gas to go mine it, so they were immune for a second. The queen shoots you once, and then you're on aggro of a move, and you aggro into the queen, and when you come back, you're like, oh, fuck, a queen! Run away! Total missed opportunity. If you just microed that, like I said before, you could have guaranteed, I guarantee you could have killed 12 drones there. Guaranteed. If a queen is shooting an oracle, the second a queen is shooting an oracle, and an oracle is shooting drones, it can kill about 8 drones worth before it explodes and dies to the queen's attacks. If the queen is literally able to just sit there and just beat its ass. Obviously, if there's moving going on, it changes the numbers here a little bit. But it takes a queen about 8 drone deaths worth of time for the queen to kill an oracle. And you already killed 4. So again, that could have been guaranteed like 12. And with how the Zerg microed that, let's back that up really quick and see how he microed that. I guarantee he just let it body aggro as well. I bet he didn't issue a command to attack with the queen. Shit, I went like a little too... Fuck. Hurry up. Hurry up. Why is this taking forever? What's taking so long? Let's watch the Zerg's perspective. Watch how he microed it. I bet no micro happened from the Zerg. I mean, that could have been him. It could have been him. It could have been him. It could have been the AI. It could have been either one. But yeah, like that was a missed opportunity. I totally see. I could have seen you just fucking the whole middle line right there. Totally. So far, what I've said, does it make sense? I'm gonna say it one more time just to clear it up. If you're going to go for Oracle openers, you should definitely prioritize the Stalker first because the Stalker is multi-purpose. It's good in the wall to defend all-ins because it's more of a damage-absorbing tank because it's not a light armored unit, it's a armored unit, so it doesn't get fucked by Banes, which is a big build that Zergs can do to you a lot of the time, and you're vulnerable to Banes if you go Stargate, if you don't have something that can absorb it for your probes. Another thing is the potential of fucking him up is much higher if you don't let him see it. So Stalker is multi-purpose because it can deny scouting and it can also help. It's a better all-in absorber basically. And if you're gonna go for stockpiled Chrono Boost, it makes sense. If you're gonna go for double Oracle, obviously don't supply block in that situation. Try your best not to do that, and then double Oracle it. Wait for double Oracle. If you're gonna go single Oracle, then you don't have to Chrono Boost the Nexus. Then it's not a big deal. Or you don't have to Chrono Boost the Stargate then, it's not a big deal. Then you would Chrono Boost the Nexus and it's okay because you don't really care if you get a lot of damage done with the Oracle then. But you are trying to go multi-Oracle. So, and then like, you know, even though you didn't really Chrono Boost it that much, like this is wide open. And if you ever see a Zerg is wide open like that, definitely that's the priority. Like make probes in the meantime. Because you don't have to look at your Nexus to do that. You can do it with the hotkey. But kill as many fucking drones as you can. That is so bad for Zerg. If you take advantage of that, you just basically had like, it was like you had $100 on the ground and you could have picked it up, and then you saw like a quarter on the ground and you were like, you know what, fuck, I'll take the quarter. And you just left. You're like, I'm good. And then the $100 bill just blew away in the wind and you're like, yeah, fuck it, don't need that. Like it was just like such a missed opportunity right there. You took like the lesser. Also, don't prioritize weapon upgrades if you're going to open up Oracle. It doesn't actually upgrade the Oracle, just so you know. This is a spell, it's not an auto attack. You're playing a very... And now he's got spores, so now it's way harder to get damage done, right? Now you're getting that 1 or 2 drone kills type shit going on. Killing gas drones and getting the fuck out of there. Look at that. That's wide open again. If I were you, I would probably turn my oracles back on Big Dick Beam, and I would go fucking farm as many of these drones as I could.
Sup, boss?
One of your oracles, if you turned it on, would only be able to get like 1 auto attack off, because unfortunately you turned your beam off again. You should leave it on. If you're gonna fly through a Zerg's base like this, and you're gonna poke, and you're gonna go to another base and poke, you can actually leave your beam on until you know for sure you're not gonna get damage done and then leave, because you're gonna have to wait anyways for the shields to recharge. So like you're in the habit of like every time the second you leave one of his bases, you just turn the beam off. Like you turn it off right now, I guarantee it. Your beam is on, you can see it right there. And you turn it off like right now as you leave. You just turned it off. But now you're flying over his natural. And I know your intention is to escape, but this guy is playing risky as fuck and he actually has no spore here again. You could have, if you left the beam on, you could have won the game again right now. You would have depleted about 5 more energy to go from here to here to figure that out. Just 5 energy. But you have to wait anyways. If there's a spore there and you're like, okay, maybe I'll poke 1 more gas drone, or maybe I don't want to fuck with that because there's a spore there. Now I'll turn it off because I know I can't get any damage done, and then I'll leave. You still have to wait anyways for the shields to regenerate, and you're fine. So like you're still waiting no matter what, either way. It's just that you just fucked yourself for now the potential of doing damage there, because if you did go over there and there's no spore and you would have gotten over there with like 18 energy left. Or like 17 left, you could have killed like another 15 drones with that, or like 13 drones with that, for sure. And you might have even lost an oracle to the queen. That could happen, but that's so much more worth it to lose like an oracle to just be like pop, just kill like 10 plus drones. Again, yeah, it's super missed opportunity there for sure. So many more drones could be dying here. And again, if you're doing a build like this, micro is the point of it, right? So that's why we're stressing a bit hard on this. Your build, going Oracle opener, It's not a build where you can be like, I'll just go oracles and I'll just chill. I'll just sit here, never do anything. You're trying to get damage done. You're trying to slow him down. You're investing into it early to slow him down, and you're missing a lot of windows to do that. Yeah. Okay. So, if a Zerg player doesn't have a third base, this is something else you got to think about. If a Zerg player at this point in the game does not have a third base, you got to be thinking, why? And what are you doing instead? He's got a layer instead. So if he's got a layer and he doesn't have a third, and he's got a Roachborn and a Hydroden, you should be kind of expecting the potential of a Nidus all in. Maybe he's just going to walk across the map and do a timing. He could get really fucking aggressive. So what I would say for you to deal with that is you definitely need to make sure you have pylons around your main base, like you do. That's good. I'm glad you're building those right now, so you don't get fucking Nidus without knowing about it. But you also need to get ready to build cannons. I would say maybe build like 4 cannons and a battery at your natural, and maybe build like 5 or 6 cannons at your third base. If he's going to 2-base you, definitely don't go for a 4th base. Just sit on 3 bases and just make Skytoss units and cannons. And like seriously, like 4 and like 6. Because you don't know what base he's going to hit either. So if you make like 10 and 0, if he hits the other base that has 0 at it, you're fucked. And you need like 6 probably at your third because it's way more exposed. You don't know if he's going to come from here, or here, or here, or there.
Upgrade complete.
He can come from multiple angles. So if you go like cannon, 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 just make like an arc around your Nexus. It gives you a staging point. Also, never send 3 oracles. I would say never do this. The only time this... So if you... Here's the thing. The only time sending 3 oracles that makes sense is if you plan on losing one of them, or if you plan on microing one out. Like, the second it's low, you just send it backwards, but you stay with 2. If you lose 1 shield's worth of oracle, and you run away with all 3, this is... Conceptually, doesn't make sense again. This is a higher level move again. This is not diamond level. This is, I would say, master's minimum, probably GM. Because this requires you to be able to micro 1 oracle out and then keep more oracles there still to kill. Yeah, and so I'm going to watch how you micro it. If you run away when 1 oracle is about to die with all 3, that's bad. So you fucked that up. I could tell you tried to micro 1 oracle out, but in the time it took you to micro 1 oracle out, it still died because you did it too late. And then you lost control while you were trying to control that 1. You lost control of the other 2, which allowed them to aggro into the Hydra and the Queen because it took you too long. And then they overcommitted a little bit deeper into the fucking anti-air of his army. And they stopped attacking the drones and they shot the Queen again or something. They shot a unit over here. And then you
Goodness,
ran
this
away.
coaching is so relevant for me. TNX ViBE.
Yo, thanks, Pengarcon. Yeah, they overcommitted. So what you should have done, the way that should have been microed, is all 3 should have been selected. All 3 are selected. You kill a drone. You kill a drone. And right now, already, after killing 1 or 2 drones, you click, you green box it. You green box this, right click. You green box
Same.
this.
This is great.
And you're good. Yo, Necron, thank you very much, man. It's all green box micro. Appreciate the bits, dude. It's a green box micro. You click this one. As it's losing a shield, it's the one getting focus fired. You click it, you run this way. You don't have to move your screen either. You're literally like this. Click, right click. Green box. That's it. And if you can't handle that, you obviously practice it, get better at it. Click, right click, green box. See how fast I did that? And I have my hand on my chin as well with my other hand. That's how you'd have to micro that. And then with the 2 you still have, you still keep going. Click, 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 click. And then you don't leave 1 here. You just leave with 2. It's fine. Because you can probably pop an extra 4 fucking drones here before you have to actually leave. And then get out with all 3 oracles. The fact that you're losing command of your units means you're taking way too long to micro your shit. And you did it here too. You stopped controlling your units. So both times you stopped controlling your units. Which is why they're going... They're like doing a detour to body aggro the fucking Queen. Which is, again, missed opportunity with your oracles. Because an oracle has a very fucking high attack speed. And the more time you let it spend getting body aggroed on something means it's the more time it spends moving over to something else. And then you're waiting on acceleration and deceleration for that too, because you're coming to a stop as well. Pro players that micro oracles will not have deceleration in their unit. You know what they'll do? Click a drone, right click. 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 That way the Oracle literally never stops. I really wanna, I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this point at the end of the game. I don't want to do it now because I'd have to restart the replay over. But yeah, we'll come back to it. But you're definitely missing beats on how you micro the Oracle properly. Because you're allowing it to be accelerated and decelerated, which is horrible. Because you're allowing it to get body aggro on things that have superior range to it. So you're missing so many, you're missing like, every time you do this, you're missing like 2 or 3 auto attacks per Oracle. Because you're allowing it to go, to come to a stop on a drone, and then it goes, oh, getting hit by something else? Start up again. And then it comes to a stop to attack it. And you're like, oh, let's leave again. So it's like all these fucking missed hits because of moving. Way too many Nexus. I disagree with this. You definitely need to make cannons because your opponent is a 2-base layer Zerg. And you didn't do shit for damage to him either. Like, you did very little damage to him overall. So far this game you killed like 9 drones? You killed 13. And you've lost an Oracle for it too. And you should be the second you have like 3 bases fully saturated, you should be non-stop chrono boosting your oracles. Again, weapon upgrade doesn't do shit for oracles either. That's a waste of gas. This should be like another Stargate pumping. You should go 1 Stargate would be fine. If you go for like 1 Stargate opener with like a stalker first. Yo, Necron, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. Much appreciated, dude. Thank you, thank you. If you go for 1 Stargate opener with a stalker and you go for a chrono boosted double oracle opener, that'd be fine. The second you have a well saturated natural and you get ready to take a 3rd base, you should definitely be throwing down your 2nd Stargate as well. And the second your next base is fully saturated, you should be taking another Stargate as well. Like 3 Stargates with triple chronos. So I wouldn't say chrono your Stargates the whole time. You could chrono it your first one for the surprise attack of 2 oracles. Go back to chronoing probes until your 3 base is saturated. And then go back to chronoing your Nexus. I mean, go back to chronoing your Stargates after your 3 Nexus is fully saturated. And again, that's because of what you're playing against. You're playing against a 2-base Zerg. This guy's not 3-base. He's going to do a timing early. He prioritized a layer before taking a 3rd. So he's definitely timing Zerg. The only people who ever do this kind of shit where they don't attack you and rush a layer are people that have no fucking idea what they're doing and they're very inefficient. But you should expect an attack. So 4th base, excessively greedy. That means more cannons have to be built now. That's not practical. It's also an investment. This could be cannons. This could be literally 4 cannons here. This is 600 minerals of total investment. That could be 4. That could literally be 4 cannons for your natural. And then you can make like 6 cannons, which is 900 minerals for your 3rd. And then like 1 battery in each base, which is now 1100 minerals, which would put you down to 380 minerals still in the bank, and which could be chrono oracles. And you would be way safer against bullshit that he could do of the timings. You should definitely not attack with 5 oracles. If you engage like his army preemptively, it's not great. Also, if you burn all your energy on your oracles, that's also not great. At this stage. I don't mind the revelation, that's fine. I very much dislike your lack of defense, though. Good. That's fine. This is a bit much at this stage. But the reason why I say it's a bit much is because you're over defending one base and you're under defending another base. Like your third and your fourth now are getting super defended, but your natural is wide open. And if he goes to your natural and then goes to your main, that's all of your production. And this is the easiest one to defend because it's a choke point. Also, I don't like the spread as much. Make it a little tighter around your Nexus, because what if a Zerg player ran some, like, let's just say hypothetically he attacked you over here, okay? Let's say he's a better player. He attacks you up here, he gets the majority of your army up here, you're defending it, and he sends like 4 roaches right here. He just sends 4 roaches like, they walk right here, behind your gas, and they sit right fucking here. And they're out, like, they sit in your mineral line. And they're out of range, like right there, out of range of both of your cannons, sitting right there, and there. And they're just the whole position. Just like 4 roaches. Or like 3 roaches. They get hit a couple times while they walk into it, but they don't die to a couple shots. And they just sit there, killing your probes because your opponent recognizes a weakness. Do I think a diamond player is always going to be able to do that? No. But do I think players will eventually do that to you? Yes. Like, if I was playing against you and I went roaches against this and I saw you have no cannon here, coverage at the back of your mineral line, I would totally abuse that. And I would just be like, fuck it. Let's just keep killing probes and let's just force him to come back here and defend this. And then make more cannons. Okay, now you're making carrier. And you're doing carrier off of... So you make way too many oracles if you're going to go carrier really fast.
That is the cannon. Battery is too tight. It's more vulnerable to biles. So where would you put them?
You can gap it a little bit. You know what's vulnerable against biles? When you stack it like that. If you stack it like overlap buildings like that. Gap your buildings out like you're stacking buildings. You're stacking buildings. You're stacking buildings. You're stacking buildings. That's way more fucking vulnerable to corrosive bile. Gap your buildings out like that. Like those 2 cannons right there. But all of them. Like the battery should be off by 1. Battery should be off by 1. Battery should be off by 1. Battery cannon should be off. And your cannon should be closer to the Nexus. A cannon could be there. A cannon could be there. Like this cannon could be there. This cannon could be there. And these batteries and shit could be like there. 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 You know what I mean? This is way more vulnerable than just having your cannons around the Nexus a bit more. And it doesn't even have to be like all your cannons in the mineral line. Just like 1 or 2. 1 or 2. And that's it. Just so you can actually have a coverage of attack everywhere the roaches would go, or his units would go, Zerglings, whatever. Like, you actually have such an underfitted mineral line that I literally think if a Zergling held position here, it could keep killing these probes out of range of the cannon. And if it was like, let's just say it was an upgraded adrenal gland Zergling, it could beat the shit out of like 5 or 6 probes before it would die. And if it had armor, it could kill like your whole mineral line. Or probably not your whole mineral line, but probably like 8 probes. Like, it's actually crazy. Obviously, you're not playing against that. You're not playing against that. But I'm just telling you, like, right now, this is a bad habit to develop. This is gaps in your defense. And if this is how you always do it, that's abusable. Same thing over here. What the hell is defending the back of the mineral line? I'm going to tell you right now, though, as well, about your Oracle. You should definitely stop making oracles as fast as you did, or like, earlier than this. You made a very awkward number of oracles, in my opinion. I think you should go for like up to 3 or 4 if you're going to rush carriers. Like probably 3 max, and then rush carriers if you're going to rush carriers. And if you're not going to rush carriers, you should make like 14. You made a very awkward amount of oracle.
You coached me a while ago to go 8 to 16 oracles when going into carrier-based Skytoss.
But you're going in the, okay, you're going in the very minimum. You're doing a very minimum style of oracle. I would say 8 makes, like, I'm going to break it down even more for you then. 8 makes more sense if your opponent's being really fucking greedy. Like, droning like crazy. 16 makes more sense if your opponent's being 2 base heavier. If you're going to go heavy oracle into Skytoss. Oracles are safer than just rushing carriers. If you just straight up rush carriers right away, it's risky. I'm not going to say that that's going to work every time. It's fucking risky. If I play a Protoss, I'm going to tell you right now, my Zerg, if I scout a Protoss who just rushes carriers into Skytoss off of like 2 oracles, I'll win 100% of my games. But I don't think the majority of Zergs are me. I think the majority of Zergs are kind of silly with how they play against Skytoss, and they're like, I'm going to attack, and attack, and attack, and attack, and attack, and attack. And it's like, how many drones do you have? 47? Okay. Holy fuck. This guy doesn't know how to make economy. That's most Zergs. Really, seriously. So, yeah. I mean, it worked for you because this guy doesn't understand how to really punish you for that. But just know that if you play against like a 5k plus Zerg or something, or like 5.5k Zerg, I know you're diamond right now, but yeah, like I could totally see you getting fucked over because you don't. Here's the thing. This is the big problem. You do not have enough oracles. You do not have enough oracles to overpower mineral lines at this point. You don't. So you have no way to force a Zerg into weird all-ins, and you don't have enough oracles to cover yourself from a actually efficient Hydra Queen all-in. You really don't. And your delayed static D was also delayed as fuck because of the fact that this guy's going 2 base. This is why StarCraft 2 is really hard to coach. What I'm telling you to go for this game applies to 2 base heavy Zerg players, not 3 base or 4 base Zerg players who go greedy. And some people will be like, ViBE is a fucking 3rd base, bro. ViBE is a 3rd. What are you talking about? Okay, settle down. I see he has a 3rd base, but he didn't open 3 hatchery. He opened layer, Hydra in, and then took a 3rd. So it makes sense if he's gonna fucking attack you. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense that he's gonna sit there and make Hydras defensively. So you should prioritize defending a timing. And if you get caught being like, I just spent 1,200 resources making a fleet beacon and carriers, and more, or even more, like 1,800 resources of like each, like 1,800 minerals and like 1,200 gas. If you get caught spending that much resources on making a fleet beacon and making like an extra Stargate and making all the Stargates full of carriers, and he's in the process of killing your base, and you're like, well, but fuck, my Stargates aren't going to be done for the next like 30 seconds. It's all tied up right now. I'm like chronoing it, but it's not done yet. And you're like, fuck it, 8 oracles, let's go. Let's get out there, 8 oracles. You're going to die. You know what I mean? The more aggressive he is, the more likely you should go towards that 16 amount, like safer. And that's why I said like 14 would make sense this game, because he was prioritizing aggression. He was not prioritizing droning. Whereas if he prioritizes droning, then I'm not. Then if you actually would have gone for like 8 oracles and went for like economy, I would have been like, well, you can definitely abuse all those mineral lines hardcore, like repeatedly go for drones, kill drones. He can't stop you. He's just droning. Like, if the only way he can stop you is if he has well-placed, like, queens and shit. And, if you ever see vulnerabilities like that earlier, you could totally punish that. I hope that concept makes sense, though. For everybody. Because a lot of people, they don't think about the game that way. They just think that a lot of people think that one build solves all. And it's not true. Which is exactly why I did not teach people build orders in Bronze Jam. So, I mean, your game is like unlosable now. The Zerg player is definitely not. You know, the Zerg player has no idea what he's doing. He is doing an aggressive opener and not you doing it. This guy's economy is awful, and the reason why is because he prioritized all of his tech, and he did nothing with it. He attacked you with like 2 Hydras at some point. So that was a total missed beat by him. But you should definitely be doing something along the lines of this, okay? 3 base, 3 Stargate when you first saturate it.
Can you talk about when to do weapon upgrades for this build, since you said I shouldn't have done it for oracles?
Well, I mean, you switched into carriers, so... It's actually not that bad. I'm going to say this. Just for you for now, the way you play it out, Isosceles, Dr. Dark Knight, I have new ways to, looking at how you play. I have new ways of thinking about this on how to be more efficient. Actually, I'm thinking. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're definitely not doing anything with the aggression of oracles that should be done. That's like you're missing all of that, and it makes the oracle a lot shittier because of that. But I still think oracles are better than void rays against hydras. So because they have bonus damage to light, and they actually hit way faster. No, just keep going oracles. It's fine. Okay. The big one. We're gonna clean this up in a really simple way. I'm not gonna get super technical here because I feel like we can clean your build up more simply. Don't start getting shield upgrades. Do not start getting shield upgrades until you start making carriers. Okay? That's number one. Don't get shield upgrades until you start making carriers. That's number one. Number two, you can start upgrades on your cyber core. That's fine. Don't chrono boost it though until you start making carriers. So start making upgrades on your forge and start chrono boosting both forge and core when you start making carriers. Okay? That's no matter what, every game. Do it that way if you're going to go the way you play. Again, this build is designed for you right now, for Diamond. Chrono boost these two buildings when you start making carriers, never before. And don't start using the forge either until you make carriers. Now, what you're going to do instead is you're going to chrono boost out your first Stargate for oracles, and you're going to try and get damage done, like we talked about with the stalker. You'll keep making oracles. That's fine. If you can get damage done, that's amazing. If you don't get damage done, well, fuck, that sucks. But based on what you see, if the way you played it out would have been okay if he would have been really greedy. He was not really greedy. If he's not really greedy and he's going to 2-base your ass, you should definitely make static D on your third and your natural before you take your fourth base. And you should stay on like 3 Stargates while you do that. And then as soon as you're done making static D and all of your Stargates are in production and you're chrono boosting them, if you ever have a little bit of excess money, you can take a 4th Stargate. You can actually stabilize 4 Stargates off of 3 fully saturated bases. You totally can. And then once you have control and you have money, you can take a 4th base, that's fine. But just know, oy, this is hard to explain because oracles suck fucking balls if you just sit there defensively with them. Just know that your oracles should try to always get drone damage done until you're expecting a timing. And you should be expecting a timing when the Zerg stops expanding or hasn't expanded for a while. Then your oracle should be defensive. So ViBE, I get the second Stargate when natural is saturated. Like, okay, I'm going to say the reason why this build is so hard to explain is because I'm teaching you a build with Oracle that I do think even if you play it wrong, you're still going to win a lot of games in Diamond, but you're going to like feel like the game is so hard when you get to Masters. Oh. Oy. Oh, yeah. Shit. Yo, thank you for the sub, bees. Appreciate the 1 year, motherfucker. Thank you, man. Yo, ViBE, hey, how are you? Arms are popping. Hell yeah. Thank you, dude. Oh, God. I'm getting frustrated trying to explain this because it just doesn't make any sense for a lower level player. It's hard to explain this. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time. I don't want to explain the stalker thing again and the oracles again. We've already talked about that like 3 times. So I feel like that already makes sense for a lot of people. That's fine. But start your second Stargate before you start your third. Yes. Because you can easily afford that. Especially if you're not getting shield upgrades right away. You don't want shield... Like, getting these upgrades when you're basing your whole gameplay off of fucking oracles is really irrelevant. It's lazy mode. It slows everything. Like, the... okay, okay. This is the point. This is why it's so just bad. The point of this is to be aggressive. The point of this is being defensive. It's like literally trying to do 2 fucking things at the same time that are opposites. Makes no sense. Now this does make sense for carriers, so it has purpose later on. Which is why I was saying I actually think it's, and also having a really high level weapon upgrade for carriers when you go into carriers is actually fucking insane. So I don't mind that you start weapon upgrades right away. Do not chrono boost it. Do not start shield upgrades like we talked about with the Forge until you start making carriers. That's all going to happen together. Carriers and upgrades go together. And you can chrono boost the carriers, you can chrono boost the upgrades if you have enough chrono boost energy for that. Oracles try to get as much damage done as they can, and you scout with them too at the same time. You can make Stargate 1 on 1 base, you can make Stargate 2 on 2 base, you can make Stargate 3 on 3 base. You match Stargate count to base count. If your opponent has less bases than you, prioritize cannons before you keep expanding. If your opponent has as many bases than you or more bases than you, you can make very limited amounts of static D, like 1 cannon and a battery, or 2 cannons and a battery, and then expand again. You should, however, as soon as, no matter what, as soon as you're on 3 bases, you should make static D no matter what. Because if this guy does Ling run-bys to you, and you have no fucking static D, while you're trying to make a carrier transition, you could lose a lot of probes for that. So, no matter what, always make a little bit or a lot of static D on 3 bases, depending on if your opponent does or doesn't have a lot of bases himself. You counter it. He doesn't have a lot of bases, you make a lot of static D, because he's making a lot of army instead. He does have a lot of bases, you can make a little bit of static D and make a lot of bases too, because he's prioritizing economy. But he still has the ability to fucking send units at you, which if you have no defense for your probes at all, and he sends 3 bases at once of Zerglings, you're like, wow, I just lost 40 probes. That sucks. And then again, the Oracle count is based off of the base count. You should make more to be safer versus higher army count of him. Less. I hope this concept makes sense. You counter what he's doing. He has a lot of fucking Hydras early because he has no economy. You make more Oracles. He has more drones early. You're not going to get attacked as early then. He's going to make drones instead. So you can make more. You can make the transition to carriers faster, which means making less Oracles. I really hate how your natural has no defense. You've already won the game though, but I really don't like how you just leave this exposed. And I don't like how you made Adepts and you leave them in the wall all game. Adepts are so shitty. Don't ever make Adepts again. Make Stalker. I like it. I like it. I like it. I don't like that as much. What? What? Sorry. The reason why I'm so frustrated is because I feel like you're totally missing the objective with your oracles. And that's the 3rd time you've done it. It's the only reason why, like, I'm just really... This game makes no fucking sense with the oracles. I understand what I said before, and what I said makes sense before. Oracles are better than Void Rays defensively at killing Hydras. If like 20 Hydras are here fucking shooting your base, I would actually rather you have Oracles instead of Void Rays, because Oracles are cheaper, you can have more of them, and they kill Hydras faster. They're better than Void Rays in every way against Hydras. And what are you scared of when you go Skytoss? What does everybody do? Fucking Hydras. So I actually still think Oracles are better, but you're missing so many moments of power in your favor, or momentum swings in your favor, because you're just so timid with them. You're like, I'm fucking afraid. Ah. Be more aggressive with Oracles. Whenever you see mineral lines like that, don't be so afraid. Like, don't dive into a bunch of Hydras. But you're so fucking afraid of all the Oracle pressure. Now, I said something before we leave this game. I wanted to show you how to micro Oracles properly. I do not expect you to micro like this, okay? I do not expect you to micro like this. I do not. But watch this. Okay, watch this. So an Oracle should be microed like this. Or you focus fire if there's a spore there, like that. You gotta get good at the timing. I'm even bad at the timing because I don't do this very often. Basically, the point is you maintain momentum on the Oracle, okay? You maintain the momentum on the Oracle, because every time the Oracle is still in full movement and it flies over, it's within range to kill a drone, okay? It's within range. You can kill it and get the fuck out of there. Kill it and get the fuck out of there. Kill it and get the fuck out of there, and you can just move. However, if you just let it A-move, it has momentum moments where it has to slow down, stop, reaccelerate, slow down, stop, and you kill slower this way. Watch. Every time you have that momentum where it's like, it's like that's an auto attack itself. Each time the Oracle does that, it's an auto attack itself. And if you don't actually micro the Oracle, what I just showed you is less severe. It's less severe of being bad. But what is the most severe of being bad is when your Oracle's on a move and it's just doing the and a Queen goes, fuck you. And it shoots it and the Oracle goes, and it just like flies over to the Queen instead. So you have to micro. At the very least, I would even rather you do this, okay? Just for learning how to use an Oracle, I would even rather you do this. Start understanding the range of an Oracle. Okay, start understanding the range of an Oracle. And use hold position. Like that would be even better than what you're doing now as well. Because if my Oracles are here and I A-move it, they're gonna hit the spore. Right? So if I go like this, if I'm flying, hold position, 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 hold position. If you start understanding the range of the Oracle, like that would even be better, just to get a grasp on the range of it. Because again, like it's just that's not the best way to micro it either. Like the way you have to micro it is you literally have to A-move, 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 A-move. That's how you want to do it. Like that. That is an Oracle. That is proper harass. If you're trying to harass a mineral that has a spore in it. You know what? Fuck it. You know, I take it back. What I just said. Fuck the whole position thing. Don't even do that. It's fucking stupid. You know what you should do? Try your best when a spore's there to micro your Oracles. Okay? When you only have like 1 or 2 early game. If a spore is there and you go like this. Attack. Attack. Okay, leave. Just leave. I killed 2 drones. Leave. I wouldn't give a fuck. Because that's what's supposed to happen when you have spores and bases with queens at them. However, when you have no fucking drones in a mineral line, okay, at the start of the game, you need to kill drones more. And then not run away. You need to just be able to discern what is and what isn't scary. And the whole point of that is spore crawler. If there is not a spore crawler, or there is not like 3 queens there, kill drones. If there is only 1 queen there, there will always be 1 queen there. Be like, hey queen, what are you gonna do about it? All your drones are dying right now. Cool, and they're all dead, bye. And the queen's like, fuck, I'm gonna get fired, everyone died. Trying to teach this concept is a lot harder than teaching you just like build a forge. Cool, that's it. Like it's you have to understand. You have to be able to look at something and understand if it's good or bad. Again, we have to go through. I'm literally tempted to go through the whole replay again, but I'm not gonna do that. We've already spent like an hour on this. I feel like you guys get the point because I'm just gonna say what I've already said again. I'm not mad. By the way, it sounds like I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm just passionate, guys. Okay, Linnell, I'm gonna calm down. I'll slow my roll here, and I'll say the final thing. We've talked about the build, how it makes sense, about how to read a Zerg's build. The last thing I'll say is when you open oracles, oracles are very weak. They're very weak. And if you don't take advantage of your opponent playing poorly, where there's a hole in their build that you could abuse with oracles, and you don't take advantage of that and punish them for that, there's a chance you could die for that. Because what is your opponent doing? Playing extra greedy in some way? He's going for like, he's not even building spores. He's going for a super fast Hydra all-in. It's not always going to be the case that your opponent's just playing bad. What if they're cutting corners and they're playing efficient but risky, and you don't take advantage of that? Well, you're going to die. So you have to force safe measures out of your opponent, and if they don't do it, you have to punish them for that. You have to be able to recognize that and punish them for that, because you could die otherwise. You have to understand that concept, because that will definitely be a thing the higher level you go in this game. It is definitely a thing. Some people play risky, but then they also get power spikes if they don't get punished while being risky. So understanding that is a big deal. And killing more drones definitely could have been done in this game many times over. But yeah, I hope that all of what we just said, all of it's relevant, all of it makes sense. Listen to it all again. It's multiple stages of the game where it all has relevancy. And that is ideally how to do a basic level Protoss versus Zerg Skytoss build. But again, if you're not able to handle the Oracle usage, practice it, get better at it. Oracle is a great option to go for early game, but if you don't actually use the Oracle well, just know that that is definitely a lot of room to improve on right there. Like, I would say, I know it's Diamond League, so we can actually talk about micro now, the way I like to break things down. I don't think you should ever talk about micro, anything platinum or below. But now that we're in Diamond, your biggest weakness, Dr. Dark Knight, is your micro of your oracles. Like, everything else was okay. The second biggest weakness was your lack of SimCity, or your lack of static D in certain locations. Your mineral lines and also your main and natural. You had a lot of holes in your static D as well. That was not great. But your biggest weakness was definitely your Oracle usage, because it allowed your opponent to be further ahead than he should have been. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it makes sense. I hope it might help some Protosses out there learn how to be cheesy against Zerg and do some bullshit Skytoss builds. But thank you for watching. Much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, peace, good luck, and go play some games. Later, guys.